Welcome. It is a pleasure and honor to be with you today, and I hope that in this brief presentation, I may be able to share with you news that will be of great value to you because I value your time, I value your talent, and that is why I want to share this news with you today. Now, if you are meeting me for the first time, I'm Mazuki, and I specialize in the area of self-leadership, communication, relationship, and coaching. I am also a neurosemantics trainer and meta coach. What I am here today is about the current crisis that we are facing. We call it COVID-19, and we have the lockdown. And as I think about what we are going through in these times, and when I say we are going through in these times, people all over the world are going through this crisis at this moment. I like to think of an analogy that somebody made about this, and that the person gives the crisis the analogy of a storm. And instead of the usual analogy of a storm whereby we are on the same boat and we are going to get out of this together, this person gave this analogy of the storm as we are in the same storm. However, we are in different boats. And when I came across the analogy, I thought, wow, that is a more accurate perspective because indeed we are not in the same boat. And that is why, as people all over the world go through this crisis, they are responding or they are experiencing it in different ways. Because if you are in a storm, how you experience the storm will depend on the type of boat or ship that you are in. If, for example, you are in a large ship or a large yacht, now, because the size of the ship is huge and it is more stable, you are experiencing less of the turbulence from the rough sea. And because of that, your experience, it is not so scary as compared to somebody who's in a small boat or even in a in a rubber dinghy or even in a paddle canoe. That person will be thrown up and down by the waves, and it will be very scary and it will be very fearful for that person. So depending on the boats that we are in, each and every one of us are experiencing this crisis in different ways. Now, the bigger tragedy for me, as I observe, is that there are so many people who are out there thrown into the sea because they don't have any boats at all. They are thrown into the sea, some with life rafts, and there are others without any life vest. So that's a big tragedy. And when I think about that, I feel a sense of sadness and a little bit of despair because how could we stand by and watch those people be in those situations? And yet, what gives me that great big beam of hope is that I'm noticing that our fellow humankind, our fellow human beings are throwing out life rafts or lifelines to these people in the sea, because there are many amongst us, the people who are on those ships. They are reaching out and helping to this, and that gives me that hope. And noticing the initiative coming from people who are better off to help the people who are poorer off in this situation gives me the inspiration to be bringing to you what I am going to inform you right now. So what I have done is that when I notice how people are in that scenario, what I notice that this storm, this COVID-19 is affecting us in many different ways. It is affecting us. One is in terms of health. And the other is due to the lockdown, it is also affecting us in the area of finance. And the moment it impacts us in the area of finance, it just affects many other areas of lives as well. And the impact is not just short term, not just during the lockdown. Post-lockdown, what's going to happen next? People are talking about the second wave or the third wave, and it will be affecting us long term. So what I have thought about, and as I discuss with people who are more intelligent than I am, is to be able to bring this awareness about strategies in managing or in handling this situation. Since it is affecting us in our multi-dimensional aspects of life, what if we are able to bring this awareness to as many people as possible, so that by understanding how it is affecting us in the many dimensions, many facets of life, we are able to take small steps and strategies to handle in each of those dimensions to get ourselves on firmer footing, so that we can move on stronger from this crisis, to be able to go beyond our short-term survival goal and going into medium and long-term. So the question that I may want to ask you right now, if you don't mind, is the question of, do you want to be more resilient in overcoming this setback? Do you want to turn this disruption into opportunities for growth and for long-term sustainable wealth? Do you want to be able to finish strong from this crisis? I am excited to bring to you this series of webinars, 8 speakers over 8 days. These speakers come from different backgrounds, different industries, and they bring to us different expertise and talents to share with us what our short and long-term strategies in those specific areas of their own specialization. So I hope that you'll be as equally excited as I am to welcome this. I've invited them to become my guests, that I will interview them on the topics that pertain to their areas of specialty. So what we have is that we'll be starting off on the 27th of May with Scott Friedman, the Chief Celebration Officer of Scott Friedman and Associates. And Scott will be speaking to us on mental and emotional wellness. On the 28th of May, we'll be having Professor Dato Dr. Mafauzi Muhammad. He is the Professor of Medicine and Senior Consultant Endocrinologist from the Hospital University Science Malaysia, and he'll be speaking to us regarding medical health. On the 29th of May, we have Rajan Devadasan, the Chief Executive Officer of RD Wealth Creation Sendirian Berhad, and he'll be discussing about financial health. On the 30th May, we have Mr. Muhammad Muazzam Muhammad, the Chief Executive Officer of Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, and also BIMB Holdings Berhad. And he'll be speaking about COVID-19 relief packages from the banking industry. On the 31st of May, we'll be having Ibu Rose. She's the Director of Love World Resources, and she'll be speaking from the dimension of family health. On the 1st of June, we'll be having Dato Faridah Hanim Harun, also fondly known as Ibu Hanim, the President of NM's Leadership Solution Sendirian Berhad, and she'll be speaking on business sustainability. On the 2nd of June, we'll be having Ahyat Ishak, Pengarah Pejuang Hartanah, and he'll be speaking on investing in real estate. And to wrap it up, on the 3rd of June, we'll be having Dr. L. Michael Hall, the director and co-founder of the International Society of Neurosemantics, and he'll be speaking with us regarding creating wealth. I'm just so excited about having these people to come in to speak to us and to share with us from the various dimensions, various disciplines. And another part of that excitement is their generosity and willingness to be able to share. Because if you notice, two of our speakers are halfway around the world, and just reaching out to them within half an hour of my contacting them, they said yes, that they'll be coming here, and almost all of the speakers did the same. So this gives me that glimmer of hope that we as the human race are ready to help one another, to give a helping hand. And this series of webinar, to me, is evidence of that people are ready to help other people. And that is why I am so enthused, so excited about this webinar, and that is why I'm inviting you. Come one, come all, be with these esteemed speakers so that we can have a greater in-depth understanding of what we are facing from the various angles, so that we can strengthen, fortify ourselves, so that even though we are facing this storm, we'll finish stronger. I've prepared the link for the registration, and I look forward to seeing you in the first webinar of the series that will be on the 27th of May. So I'll see you then.